Hey, what's up YouTube? Julio here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how we can create an accordion using HTML and CSS. Accordions are great for when you want to have a bit of information hidden that you want to show later on after an action such as a click event. The perfect example for this would be an FAQ section, and that's exactly what we're going to be creating in this video tutorial. As you can see here, I have several questions, and when I click on one of them, my question will expand and my answer will be shown. Again, if I click the next question, the same thing will happen and my previous question will collapse. Also notice that my icons are being switched whenever I click a new question. The way I achieved this was by using CSS to handle all of the click events. Now, the way I set up the code makes this accordion mobile friendly. So if I go into my mobile view, you can see that it doesn't matter the width of the viewport, it's still going to adjust. So if you want to know how I built this, stick around till the end of the video. But before we begin, I just wanted to say that if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon to turn on notifications so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you enjoyed it and found it useful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Now let's jump right in. So if you guys are starting off with an empty HTML document and you have Emmet installed, you can easily create a boilerplate by hitting the exclamation sign and then tab. Now I'll just open up my project in the browser, change my title name to the name of the project, and then I'll link my style sheet. After we've done that, what we want to do is just go in the body and open up the section tag. Inside of the section tag, we want to add a container div. Inside this container, we want to have the accordion itself. So we'll have a div with the class of accordion. Inside of the accordion, we will have a div with the class of accordion item. Then inside of this div, we want to have a link. The link will point to the ID of question 1. Now, what we also want to do is apply the ID of question 1 to the first accordion item. The reason for that is because whenever we click on this link, then it will navigate to whatever it matches, which will be the question 1 ID we see here. Now, inside of the anchor tag, we want to have the question itself. So we can just simply have something random like, how often do you go? You go to the beach. And then we want to have the icons themselves. Now, I still haven't included the icons, but that's because we're going to be using a different icon set, and it's going to be the ion icons. So we're just going to go onto ionicons.com, usage, and then we want to scroll all the way to the bottom. And here we can just grab the link, and then we can just copy it on top of the style sheet we created, and then we'll just have a comment to know what it is. So I'll just say ion icons. Let me just get rid of the space and tab this over. And now we can just go ahead and see how we can use it. So to use the material design icons, which is this right here, the MD, we start off by applying the class of icon, and then we apply the class of ion dash MD, again for material design, and then the name of the icon. So to get the name of the icons you want, you can simply go back to the icons, and you can just simply click on any of them. As you can see, this one, the name will be removed. So let me just minimize this, and we can just get started with the icons. So the first icon will have the class of icon, the class of ion dash md, and then I can say add because we want the plus sign. Now I'll just copy this again, paste it underneath it, and then say remove. So we can now close this up since we already have the icons we need, and you can see them right here. Now the next step is for us to go underneath. Actually, before we do that, I also want to apply the class of accordion link to the anchor tag, and now underneath of the link we can just have a div with the class of answer. Now we can just simply have some dummy text in here. Now this is the basic structure right here that we need for the accordion itself, and then all of the items. So now that we have one, we can just simply copy this over to save us some time. And we'll just have 4 of them, and now we can just modify them. So you see that we get some errors here, and that's because you're only supposed to use IDs once, because they're supposed to be unique. So for the second one, I'll just change it to question 2. You also have to do it on the second anchor tag so that they both match up. Then this one will be question 3. Again, the anchor tag. And then we have one more. This one should be 4. We're also going to be changing the questions. So this one, we can just say, go shopping. This one, how often do you walk the dog? How often do you go to your parents' house? So that way we can see that at least all the questions are different. Now that we have the structure that we needed, we can just simply go into the CSS and start styling the accordion. As usual, we'll start off with some basic resets. We also want to apply it on the before and after. And we'll just reset the margin, padding, and set the box sizing to inherit. Reason for that is because we'll be applying box sizing border box to the HTML document, and after we do that, then everything else inside the document is just going to inherit it. The font size, font family actually, will be Roboto. Font size will be set to 10 pixels because we'll be using rems. And finally, box sizing, border box. Now what we want to do is just style the section. We'll give it a width, a height of the viewport height. We want to set up a background color as well. And this one is going to be 3C453. And I'm missing a number. Should be a 0 here. Now we want to center this vertically and horizontally. So for that, we'll just use flexbox. Then align items, center, and then justify content, center. We'll just make a comment over here. Now we can just go ahead and style the container itself. So we'll select the container, give it a width of 100%, and then a max width of 80 rem, which is going to be 800 pixels. So it's not going to get any bigger than 80 pixels, well, 80 rem. And then we can just simply say that margin will be 0 auto. And then we can just give it some padding left and right. So padding top and bottom will be 0, and then left and right will be 0.5 rem, which will be 15 pixels. Let me just scroll this down a little bit. Now we can go ahead and actually style the accordion item. The accordion item will have a border radius, although you're not going to be able to see it for now. But the first thing I'll do is just give it a background color so that you guys can actually see it. And the colors for this one will be 28, 3042. Now I can give it a border radius, and it's going to be something small like 0.4 rem. Next thing I'll do is just give it a margin bottom of 1 rem just to create some separation between my items. The next step is for me to actually give it some padding, so I'll give it some padding all around of 1 rem. Next, I'll give it a subtle box shadow, and then it's just going to be 0.5 rem, 2 pixels, then 0.5 rem. And then the color is going to be RGBA of black, so 000, and then it's going to be an alpha of 0.1. And that's going to be pretty much it for the accordion item. Next step is for us to actually style the accordion link. So accordion link, font size will be 1.6 rem. Color will be a white, but in this case we'll use RGBA 255, 255, and then we'll use an alpha of 0.8 to make it lighter. Next, we can just say that the text decoration for the link will be set to none. Now we'll give it a background color as well. So background color will be set to that same 28, 30, 42. And now we'll just keep going and give it a width of 100%. The reason for that is because we want this whole area right here to be clickable. So we will also give it some padding. But before we do that, I will actually flex it so that I can use Flexbox to separate the question with the icons so that I can use space in between. So I'll use display flex, and then I can just simply say line item center, and then justify content space between. And as you can see now, every single one is separated. But don't worry about this for now, because we will be hiding one of them so that only one is visible. The next step for us to do is to actually go ahead and apply a little bit of padding. So in this case, I'll use padding top and bottom of 1 rem, and then 0 left and right. Then we want to target the icon inside of the link, so we can just simply say accordion link I, and we want to make sure that the color, in this case it was going to be a really light pink, so we can just say E7 D5F F. Next, we can apply a little bit of padding around. So I'll do padding of 0.5 rem. Next, what I'll do is just add a transition. Actually, I will not be adding a transition on the icons because it's not really necessary in this case. So I'll just go underneath and select my remove icon. Since I don't want it to be visible, I'll just say accordion link, and then I'll say what was I believe it was ion MD remove, and I can just say display will be set to none. And now you see that we get the desired effect. We'll go underneath, and now we can just target the answer. and apply some styles to it. The answer will have an overflow of hidden, and the reason for that is because we want to hide all the text we have over here, and we also want to set the max height to 0. So for now we can just do max height set to 0. Then we can just do overflow set to hidden, and now we won't be able to see it. Later on, when we do the click event, we can just change these values right here so that it's visible again. Now what I want to do here is just add a position of relative, which is going to be for the pseudo element that we're going to be creating. And finally, I want to give it a background color, which is going to be slightly darker. So it will be 21, 28, and then 38. And just so that you guys can see, let me just comment this out briefly, and you see that it has a darker color. Now underneath of the answer, what I want to do is just create my pseudo element. Again, just so that I'm able to see what I'm doing, I'll comment this out briefly. And then I can say answer before content will be set to an empty string, position will be absolute, and then here I can just say that the width will be 0.6 rem, then the height 90%, then I'll have a green background color, which will be 8F-C4, and then I believe it was like 60. Now we can just add a top of 50%, a left of 0, and then we can just say transform translate y minus 50%. So that's just going to make sure that it stays right in the middle. So now we can just go ahead and style the p tag inside of the answer. So answer p, and in here I just want to make the font size a little bigger. Then I also want to change the color to a lighter white, so I'll do RGBA again. And then to be consistent, I'll do 0.8. Actually, in this case, I want it to be a little lighter, so I'll do 0.6. So the next thing for me to do, actually it's not showing up, I wonder why. Answer P, color, set it to FFF. Why isn't it working? Let me just read on this. Oh, the reason for that is because I didn't use a P tag. So, but that we can just easily fix that. We can just go here and say that the text will be set to white. Well, again, we want to do the RGBA. 255, 255, 255. Set that to 6. Yeah, it's not gonna work there because we're supposed to be doing it on the answer. And then what we want to do is also set the font size to 1.4 rem here. So now you see that it's slightly better. The next thing we want to do, actually we do have to kind of wrap it into p tags. The reason for that is because I want to apply some padding on the side, and if I do it on the answer, then that's going to mess up the accordion. So I'll just put it inside a p tag, and now I can just simply copy this one and paste it inside of the other ones. Should just get rid of this one. So now that we have that out of the way, we can go back into the CSS and we can actually just grab this, delete it from here, and we can just simply apply it to the answer P. And here I can apply the padding that I want, which is going to be 2 rem all around. And now you see that the styling is a lot better. The next step is for us to actually handle the click events. So in this case, what we want to do is just target the accordion item, and then we want to say target, which is going to be the link, and then answer. So basically, when the accordion item is targeted, in other words clicked, the answer inside of the item will have these particular styles. So what we want to do now is just uncomment this to hide it. And then here we can just simply say that the max height will be set to something to, let's say, 20 rem. And now if I click on it, you see that my items are collapsing and expanding, but it doesn't look fluid. So we want to add some transition to this as well. So what we want to do is just go back to the answer, and then here we can just say transition is going to be the max height, and we're going to be setting it to 650 ms. Now you see that the transition makes it a lot better. But we're not finished yet. We still have to take care of the icons. But that's going to be pretty simple, because we're going to be using the same process of using target on the accordion item. So we can just use again accordion item, and then here we want to make sure that we get rid of the add and set it to remove for the icon. So we'll just say the accordion item link, accordion link, and then the icon inside of it with the class of ion md add. We can just say display will be none. So now you see that whenever I click on it, the icon will disappear. So the next step is to make the other icon visible. So again, it's going to be the same process. So we can just copy this one, paste it down below, and we can just simply change the add to remove. And now we can just say display block. So now you see that the icons are being switched. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. We can also use this concept for navigations, but I'm not going to go into that right now. That could be another video. So if you guys found this video useful, and if you learned something new, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're still thinking about subscribing, then hit that subscribe button and bell notifications so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.